Hey folks, today we are talking a little bit about neuroplasticity, the ability for our brains to change and grow and develop great new skills. It's relatively recent science and it's pretty cool to think about it, one of my favorite topics. And in particular, we're going to talk about neuroplasticity in the context of the habit loop. Okay, so the habit loop basically is a simple model that covers the three aspects that are required in order to embed a new habit or to create a new neural pathway in your brain. And they involve, number one, the cue, the trigger, the reminder of what it is, the trigger that starts the habit or the routine. So that could be, you could have an existing habit like a stressful day in work, and that could trigger you to have a glass of wine. That could be your little routine, and the reward you feel, which is the third part, might be you feel relaxed. Okay, so you can use this habit loop, and that's reinforcing. So you get a good feeling, so when the trigger happens again, you're more likely to follow that routine. But you can replace the routine without changing the cue and the reward, so you can still feel stressed in work. You can change that to a walk in nature, and that will allow you to feel relaxed, and that is also a reinforcing routine, and probably one that serves you better. So you can replace old habits with new habits simply by changing the routine and leaving the cue and reward, or you can create new habits, and that's what I want to talk a little bit more about today. So let's say you want to think more positively, and you want to feel better. Particularly these days, you probably want to feel better. Okay, so what's your routine going to be? You want to practice something that makes you feel better. So in this case, I'm going to use the example of feeling grateful. Okay, so gratitude. So the routine is exactly what you do, where you do it. Okay, so you want to jot down 3 things that you're grateful for, and the trigger is the thing that reminds you to do it. And this is the piece that often people leave out. It's probably the most important piece because it's where it starts. So the trigger might be just a red notebook on your locker. And when you look at that notebook, you follow the routine, but the routine has to be really precise, right? So if it's on your bedside locker, maybe you go to bed at 10 p.m. You decide that's exactly where you're going to be. You're going to be at your bedside. It's going to be 10 o'clock or so, and then the precise routine is to jot 3 things down. And over time, if you practice that, you feel better. You feel you get a feel-good factor. You get a release of chemicals, and over time, you actually end up changing your brain to think more positively about pretty much everything. And that is one of my favorite habits. And it's really easy, and that's the key thing about habits. Just like physical change, mental change is hard. So I would leave you with this term Kaizen. It is small continuous improvement over time. It's a lovely little Japanese word. So whenever you're trying to achieve big goals, start small, decide what your cue, routine and reward are, and go from there. So just like this video, I've got a little cue here to remind me 2 minutes at 2 p.m. That's my little trigger for this little routine. I'm trying to get used to doing videos, and so that's my cue for this one.